Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Des Moines for the final round back nine coverage of our MPO League card. Tournament has been shortened. We have only 2 rounds, and we don't have Paul Ulibarri. We don't have Nate Sykes. We've got Brian Earhart, and we're happy to have him. Thank you for showing up here today, and thank you for giving us the insights of what's going on out there.
It was a wild week. I talked to a lot of players out on the ground, and it was mixed emotions with the weather. I think some people were really good at staying neutral and just taking it as it comes, and some people were rightfully salty at how things played out. It's hard to leave the disc golf course when there's sun in the sky, but really, calling it when there's sun in the sky is okay when the storm is approaching.
Well, they were calling for tornadoes in the area. Yeah. It's just one of those things. We just can't have people out there in those situations. Right now, we have, I think, 6 players within 2 shots of the lead. 3 shots of the lead is very possible. There's wind, there's hole 10. This hole is eaten up by players in the column, and when there is a headwind, the players get eaten up. What is the scoring average on this hole?
Well, this week, it was averaging 5.
Okay.
Right on the nose at 5, but birdie was really tough to come by. This is about 30-mile-an-hour gusts right here on these tee shots.
So it is a headwind, but it's also like a right to left headwind, and just keeping it in bounds. This new tee pad, I said in practice, I was saying, if there is a headwind on this hole, it is going to make this hole a nightmare.
What I love, though, is that it's opening up this line as an actual option. Otherwise, the other tee pad off to the right, everyone's throwing the power hyzer.
Even Gregg in that situation would have gone hyzer from the tee pad to the right. I agree.
Well, and now this gives an option to the sidearm players and lefties, and it just makes it a much better hole in general.
And Simon, well done. Getting around that second tree and that third tree that you can't quite see from the tee, that is the real trick on this hole. Getting it up in the air and not actually lifting and going OB left is also another thing. Okay, 4 safe drives. Dig it.
They've really cut the OB in as well as you get down the hill. So if you can get over the crest in 2, you got a nice look at the basket there.
Gregg drifting left. That is fine because it's inbounds.
Fine inbounds, really challenging third shot.
Don't think if he's still trying to play for the win, he's got to go for everything and then hope as well. But I guess we'll see if he goes for it here in a second. Good shot there from Gannon. Good trust here from Gavin. I think, no, too much trust. Hung it out over OB and just never got the edge.
Yeah, when you're this far up like Simon is and there's no wind, you can try to blast one over the tree line and go for the 3. But in this situation, you just want to throw something slow, give yourself a look for the birdie 4.
And now this needs to hold on because OB left comes into play. He is safe. But it does look like Gregg has got the eye of the tiger here. And this is probably going OB right. Unless it gets lucky. Oh, what a break. Gregg will be putting from birdie from 27 feet.
I think he's even closer than that. I think he's about 20.
Oh, wow. And Gannon even closer. Gavin with a good angle. This should be pretty routine. And Simon just a little short of the corner. Just a pretty basic turnover backhand putter. Just try to dig it into the ground. Not going to be a tap-in by any means for anyone except for Gannon, I believe. That's a good birdie. Hitting the first tree and still connecting on the birdie. That is good scramble work there for Gregg Barsby.
It's so funny. When he threw that little putter turnover backhand, he hated it. He was so upset that he put it on the weak side like that, even though he was 20 feet away from the basket.
Easy thing to do, I think. It wasn't. It was a headwind though, so yeah, it should have turned over more.
Good birdie.
Good birdie, nonetheless. Gavin, honestly, good bogey. You know, you can find yourself going OB left and then right on this hole. Yeah, that's a little bit on the safe side there for Simon.
Now we get into kind of a tricky stretch of the course.
Yep.
Number 11 needs to be picked apart. There's so many different ways to play this one, Jerm.
Yeah, there's the low play down the middle, and it's very touchy. You can go long in a heartbeat. You got the high stall play that's direct, that's challenging the mandatory, and then you also have the high hyzer play over the tree. We saw a lot of similar drives in round one. We're going that line right there.
A lot of players going power hyzer over the big tree, but with this wind
coming up short.
Yeah, a lot of players trying to go stall up the middle to kind of fight the wind a bit. But yeah, that's short. He's got a tight hyzer line.
I wonder, do you get a sense that he knew that was short out of his hand, or is that a surprise when he gets up there?
I'm pretty sure he has no idea where this drive lands. He walks up there and actually was looking for it for quite some time.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I think he thought it was longer than it was.
Yeah, I think I would have thought the same thing. Oh, and Simon, you know what? Deal, because from there, Simon can go over the top. Now that he has navigated the right side of the mandatory.
Yeah, I remember the very first time that we had this hybrid hole put in. People were laying up on
Jump
purpose
putting.
in practice, trying to figure out if that's a move, and this is what he's trying.
And now Simon has got the green light to go big over the top. Why not?
And this was not pushed tight enough.
Okay.
He is...
Oh, boy.
100 feet into the tree line over the creek. It was way off the mark.
And he's in Jurassic Parkville.
He is straight up in Narnia with Aslan.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, at least you get to see Aslan. That's cool.
Yeah. Barsby going kind of a tight hyzer.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you're happy with a par on a calm day.
I mean, 11 playing is one of the hardest holes in the course.
I would guess third most difficult?
That's fourth.
Fourth, okay.
But still, it's not an easy three.
Oh, by the way, we have Brian Earhart on the stats today. For the first time ever, the stats are not in front of me because I didn't want a spoiler. Do not want a single idea as to what happens.
So, like I said, this is maybe 100 feet or more into the tree line. And he had called for a spotter on the green, and that spotter was useless.
Yeah.
But they found it, and he throws Spike Hyzer here.
And he goes long?
Long, but I think within, 40 feet, 35 feet of the basket. So a look at par.
You just don't want to get on that side or the other side. You don't want to be anywhere but on the cut grass. It is awful in the rough here. And I know exactly what Simon's lies look like. Good run. Gregg's attacking. Oh my gosh, he is so skilled with that shot. Leaving it parked, but 100% opportunity to go in. How do you leave it in bullseye and also go through the chain height? That's awesome.
That's a lifestyle, Jerm.
That
is a career of forcing yourself to do that over and over and over again.
Yes, for sure. And Simon's just going to have to pitch out here. Not really a good look. And the rest of these guys are just going to clean those up.
At this point, Gannon is starting to look at his phone quite a bit.
Yeah, I could see why. He is currently trailing his buddy Isaac by a stroke. 18 under. That is getting it done over there.
I have to ask you, Jerm, what is it about hole 12 that's making players struggle so much on it?
I don't know, man, but I'm one of those players. It should be the simplest shot in the world, and something about the out of bounds taking you to the drop zone, something about the speed being like, I want to throw a driver, but if I do, I'm not going to park it. Mm-hmm. Those little rocks in front of the green. There's so many things that make this shot tricky.
And both of these pretty good. Gregg's really good. Gannon has kind of a framed up putt on that far side.
He's going to have a look, though?
Tough look.
Tough look, yeah. That's what I thought. This should be a step-up birdie every time. This is like a hole that you see at your home course. You're like, yeah, I birdied that hole every single time I play it. It just didn't work out that way.
I watched a lot of players struggle on it.
Yeah. And that's the movement that you get with those higher speed discs. He's going to have, there you are, just kind of figuring out what has he got there. It's going to be tricky. Oh, okay.
He's starting to feel it.
Yeah, I think he knows. I mean, we've got 6 holes left after this, and he is 4 back. Oh, there's nothing.
And this was after taking quite some time trying to line up the putt. He went on one side, then went on the other, then went on one side, had his footing checked. And then Gavin also from a tough position.
That is why this hole is playing tricky. The basket being elevated makes those putts that were very accessible last year inaccessible. Unaccessible. Inaccessible? Which one is it? You're the man.
I will not comment.
Okay. But either way, I mean, inside 25 feet, almost no look for the birdie.
There's a couple holes like that, and we move into number 13 after this, and it's a very similar concept. A couple of short holes that have given players a lot of trouble.
2 par 3s that you'd like. Always the entertainer. 2 par 3s that you're thinking, this one especially, you're thinking birdie. 13 it feels like a good birdie, but this day and age, if it's a par 3, you need to be giving yourself a look.
While I do have a lot of different versions of the Thrasher in my bag, the main go-tos are those Thrashers that I got when I first joined the team. And that just tells you how consistent those stock runs are.
Hole 13, Brian, what are the options these players are going to be thinking about?
You can go with this more straight, slightly understable forehand up the middle. You can go power forehand hyzer down the left side. You can throw kind of a touchy backhand. This is made for a Gregg Barsby eagle forehand.
Oh, goodness. Sit down now. No, come on.
He was out by literally a millimeter. He was touching the outside of the rope, but not the inside.
That is not cool. That shot was too good to be punished. That is an unfortunate break for Gregg.
And you wonder why Gannon, who's been throwing great forehands all day, doesn't go for the more reliable forehand.
I think in that situation, when you're at your home course,
yeah, I guess you're right.
You've got a shot dialed up, and you've played it in the wind. You've played it in every condition. I think he just has a stock shot for this hole.
True.
Even though this is a newer hole, right? This is only the 2nd year of playing this hole.
Well, and he's also always complained about his touch. That's he openly talks about how he doesn't like throwing those tricky shots. But here he is. Even Gavin Babcock was kind of interestingly kind of summoning the forehand when he was lining up.
Oh boy.
Tester.
A tester, and that could open up some real comfort for Isaac, who's currently sitting at the top right now. Gannon needing to step up and make this one. Big putt.
Otherwise, he has a really uncomfortable finishing stretch that he has to perform on.
He's going to have to come up with some big birdies. But fortunately, lead group, they've got the most holes left. They know what they need to do. Nerve check. Pass. Just more than pass. Knock the basket over while you're at it.
And he let out a very optimistic, hopeful yes, as if he knew that that was going to be the key to making this final stretch a lot less stressful.
That's a good comeback putt. Slow stretch currently for Gavin. Gregg for the par after that beautiful tee shot. And chaining out left side. That it's just some bogeys just don't. You didn't deserve it. It doesn't feel like it, at least.
Yeah, he was really visibly upset after.
I mean, hitting that gap
situation
with that stability and that speed and getting the line right and all those things, and to just barely creep over that hill and then to be on the line itself, that is just that's got to be a total heartbreaker. But on the other side, Gannon struggling off the tee, decent approach, better putt.
And he's still chasing Isaac Robinson, who is starting to look like one of the only people he has to worry about right now, moving into hole number 14.
Yeah, this is one you just got to get down this fairway and avoid going too far left if you're going backhand. Seen a lot of players go with the big forehand shape. It actually ends up putting players in a pretty decent spot. But no matter where you are, you're going to have a low ceiling approach. Good opportunity to get a birdie, though. Didn't seem like the wind was too big of a factor at this point in the round. Am I wrong about that?
It was definitely lower than it was when they were on hole 10.
Yeah.
Gannon was mentioning on the tee that he wanted to set himself up for a grenade on the second shot.
Okay.
And he did not do what he wanted to do. That is not an easy place to throw a grenade from.
No, you can't throw a grenade from there, but it does set up a nice little lean out forehand anhyzer, which I think shapes this next shot really well if he feels comfortable with that shot. But this is what you're looking to do if you're just a human being that plays this course, because that's perfect.
That's looking good. It's a little bit high.
It's going left as well, but very similar to where Gannon is. I think it just by being another 5 to 6 feet deeper, that anhyzer forehand gets a lot less likely.
All of these shots, you can throw a chop sidearm. It's just going to be tough. There's a low ceiling. It kind of funnels in towards that middle section.
This is a great angle here to see why those extra 5 feet make such a big difference there. Gregg really didn't have good access to test the high ceiling because he was more concerned about just making the corner. Same here for, Gavin doesn't even have an opportunity.
I think Gannon does.
Yeah, it looked like he just kind of buried himself into the corner or right in the edge of the grass line.
And that was yanked off to the left side. That's going to be...
Fortunate forward kick, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 55, 60 feet left.
That could have hit the edge and got swallowed it, and that could have been really bad. But yeah, this is very manageable. Coming up short, but if that putter remains hot, it could pick up a really crucial birdie right now. And that's going to be every bit of 25 feet, if not a couple more. Decent line.
Just a few holes left to grab birdies.
Yeah, that's a good one. There it is. Reach and snatch. There you go.
In just a couple of holes, he experienced the entire spectrum of human emotion.
Yeah.
He was so frustrated about the OB on the previous hole, and then just the teardrop for the fans.
He has some of the best celebrations, and he gets a lot of practice with all the throw-ins he gets. This would be a steal of a birdie if Simon could make this one. Just off the right side. Just hasn't quite been Simon's day.
He's just had a lot of long putts, just a lot of frustrating putts that when the wind picks up, it's sometimes a coin toss.
That was a good putt. He was all the way back in the tree line. He almost lost his balance by kicking the bushes there. And just a cleanup for Simon and Gannon there. And look at that, holding his balance. Well done. Isaac through 17, just that challenging 18 left to try to get to 19 under. Gannon's got 2 birdie holes in front of him, actually 3 birdie holes in front of him, and then he gets to 18. Starting here with 15, the dog leg left, Brian.
This is a fun tee shot. It's uphill. You need to push it left. All of your distance pretty much comes from getting it to move left, and there's a couple different ways you can do that.
It's the fairly traditional way. It's pushing that back line. Oh, just too straight.
Yeah, you can try to play that low skip left, or you can try to throw kind of a touchier flip shot.
And that is excellent. That sets up a good backhand approach angle for Gannon on his second.
Yeah, there's that kind of flippier line from Simon. And that gives you the best footing.
Totally. Yeah, it's the flattest. You're throwing the most downhill from up there.
Yeah, that low left side is just so hard to get your footing.
Totally. Yeah.
And at this point, Gannon's looking at his phone. He's trying to see the updates on hole number 18 with Isaac.
Now, that's a good shot from back there from Gregg. Edge of circle for the par coming up. And what's he seeing?
I think frustratingly, you're not seeing the updates happening just yet. You're just seeing that he's on 18.
Yeah, he needs to focus on what he needs to do. And I think that was a really good shot. Just needed to get that a bit flatter to avoid the skip. Now he's got a really tricky putt coming up from 10 meters. Look at this thing standing up to flat the whole way. What a beautiful display of touch. That is how you get a disc to collect on a right to left slope, and Simon just doesn't even know what the heck just happened. And he gets the spin in. Wow.
The wind has not been Simon's friend today. He has been quite perplexed at some of these wind reads.
Another birdie passes by for Gannon. That is going to be 5 in a row now. He needs to pick one up. That's a good save. Very good save. You're talking about that roller coaster. He's going through it right now, man.
He's grinding. He's throwing fantastic shots. It's just a couple little OBs here and there.
2 under for the round with a triple bogey start.
I mean, you think of the drive on 13, beautiful shot, just leaks OB, and then the one on this one.
Now, he could be 4 under right now if that break on 13 goes the other way. Good playing for Gregg for sure. Good bouncing back.
And I love this finishing stretch here. We have 16, 17 holes that require quite a bit of touch, quite a bit of precision, and then you move to the bomber, hole number 18, with all the wind accumulating up there. On to 16 we go.
The Vulture made it into my bag about 2 years ago, and I really enjoy having a big stack of the stock plastic. I can grab 10 of them, they all fly the same for me. I can trust it at a high speed, and it still has that nice finish at the end.
Yeah, and 16, such a touchy shot to have to throw with the wind up and the blind downhill moving left with OB 8.5 feet away from the pin. So many things in the tree right in the middle of the fairway as well. This is high. And now it's out of bounds.
Yeah, kind of have to saw this one off on purpose.
It's a weird thing to do. Gregg's got the touch. Can it hang on? It can. So that's the safe part of the green. That puddle is pretty much right there on the line. The anticipation of the green flag.
So Gannon has a very intentional play on this hole. There's a very specific spot he tries to get a single skip from.
And look at this action. Okay, inside the circle, opportunity here for Gannon. That could have done so many different things. That could have gone OB left, long. It could have gone in the hole. It did the thing that I was least surprised by hitting the high ceiling. And the second layup we've ever seen from Simon this round. Ooh, boy, a bit nervy on the left side, but Gannon has finally reached 18 under. And I didn't see if that last hole check-in had Isaac finishing 18 or not yet. Has he finished 18 officially at 18 under par?
He has finished 18, but he has double bogeyed 7, and Gannon sees that going into 16.
Oh, boy.
And knows that he needs to get
And is Calvin done with his round at 16?
Yes.
Oh.
So Gannon now at this point says, I just cannot screw up.
Huge break. Goodness.
18. I mean, 18's playing 5.56 on the day.
Wow.
It's just all of that wind.
Second hardest? Hole 1 was the hardest?
Yeah. Well, I mean, winds both blowing.
Yeah.
Super strong headwind, slight cross.
And there it is. Gannon with 2 to play and 2 holes. 2 strokes with 2 to play.
I mean, so really you move into 17, you just have to hit this initial gap. You can lay up if you want to, but now that they've pushed it back, there is the danger of kicking into the creek.
Well, he was fighting for that first birdie for so long, finally got it, and all it really was for him in this situation is just insurance. Gregg T5, that's it. That's pretty great considering he was in 17th place midway through the round.
And that shot's going to be fine. I talked to Gannon earlier in the week, and he had mentioned that this season just overall has been so stressful for him. And it's just awesome to see him pushing through and staying single-minded this point in the season. And
Well, that is pretty pure there for Gavin. Just a bit short. Still even par for the round. Oh boy. What a shot that was.
What are you throwing here, Jerm? You going forehand flip up?
Yeah, we're doing the sidewinder, pushing hyzer towards the right side, let the disc kind of turn on its own.
I like how balanced the fairway is. That kind of allows for both. And Gannon almost drops one. I love that he's staying aggressive.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the safe play in some respects here is to lay up, I guess. But Give yourself 3 insurance strokes going into 18. Why not? Still impressed by this turnaround in the back 9 for Gregg. Really, ever since hole 2. I mean, it's been since hole 1. I mean, he's been turning it around the whole time. The only score going in the wrong direction was just a bad break, honestly. 13. Good birdie there for Gavin. I'm obviously a fan of seeing the old vets doing good stuff, and Simon, Gregg, obviously, they qualify for that. But I like seeing the young guns do their thing too.
I mean, they're influenced by players like Simon and Gregg Barsby, so it's yeah. I mean, it's really cool to see some of these more modern players who have studied guys like Simon and Gregg after all these years, and now we head into number 18, playing as one of the hardest on the course, over a half stroke over par, stiff headwind, and an uphill tee shot.
Yeah, this is just a backhand rip. You want to get to the left side of the fairway, but more than that, you just want to get a lot of distance. Don't somehow find a tree that you're stymied behind so you can get a full second shot. From there, you're trying to get around that scraggly, bushy tree at the end of the fairway. From there, if you get past that tree quite a bit, you can find yourself anywhere from 315 to 380 to the pin. Gavin doing a good job getting distance and forcing himself off that left side. Sorry about the bug that crawled into your TV screens at home there. That's got to be a cameraman's nightmare. And a bit low for Simon. Don't really get much grass play here, but that's enough distance. He should be fine. Figure something out on that second.
And this is big for Barsby. He could solidify a podium spot.
Definitely knows that. I'm sure at this time he's one birdie away from a 3 or 4-way tie at 15 under par.
And that's it. That's a fantastic drive. He can throw a power hyzer down the right.
And Gannon knows what he's got to do if he wants to win another Elite Series event in his home state this time. Just get it in bounds off the tee and just pitch up from there.
He's just playing so good. And I love that he had mentioned earlier in the season that he's taking a page out of Ricky's book, and when it comes to the angles he likes to throw. Mm-hmm. And that consistency is really starting to show its fruits. And here's Barsby down that right side.
Oh, wow. And just enough stability at the end to avoid going that right side. I thought it was in danger for a moment. He's going to have every bit of 380 uphill and headwind to try to get that elusive but ever so important birdie here on the last hole. Simon in a similar spot. And is he going for distance? Is he going for speed?
No, I mean, he's going for speed, but I don't think he's going for anything spectacular.
He's all alone at the top.
Yeah, he's just throwing stock hyzer with his most overstable driver.
You could definitely say he's racing and pacing and plotting the course.
You could say that.
And many wish they could plot the course as well as he has. 18 under, an average of 9 unders around. That's good in the calm, but he's doing that in the crazy wind. Simon's third. That is a disc for a spectator. I don't know if that's how it works in disc golf, but they might try to keep it.
And this is the big shot here for Gregg.
Love the distance. I love everything about it. What a shot for Gregg. All smiles there. Wow, incredible stuff.
And that will about do it there for Gannon Buhr. He has done exactly what he needed to do.
Didn't even have to do it from chase card this time. He's going to win from the lead card in his home state.
Come on, baby. Come on.
Great shot for Gavin playing from the home state. You know they're a big fan of both Gavin and Gannon and all the young players out here that are emerging here on the Pro Tour.
I have to think Simon winning Maple Hill, you could say now that's his home course.
Sure, yeah.
Is this the first time that a player has won on the course that they grew up playing?
Ooh.
I think this is the very first time that we've seen it.
Nathan Queen obviously didn't grow up in Charlotte, but him winning in North Carolina the Pro Tour Championship, that was pretty cool.
I mean, this is a kid who was 15 years old coming out here to play a doubles tournament, his second ever disc golf tournament.
Gregg Barsby winning De La Viega Masters Cup in 2008. That's another time, but that was a long time ago.
But that was also, well,
not his home course, Grass Valley. Yeah, but either way, Gannon Buhr, why not? Go for it. Who cares? Just birdie the last hole. Birdie the second hardest hole in the course. Why don't you? That's awesome.
What a performance yet again. I mean, it's 2 rounds, but he came out here to his home course and he executed. That's not easy to do.
Yep, and in 3 rounds, he would have won by more. I mean, the guy came out here focused, ready to play. 6 under in that wind is killer, especially when you start with a 13. What a monster we're seeing in Gannon Buhr.
And this is for the podium finish here for Gregg. Huge comeback.
Slightly staring into the sun. And that is with conviction. That is a huge battle back. Started the round in 3rd place. Got a triple in the first hole. You can't take triples and get away with those on tour. Gregg's proven you can't.
And what's crazy is...
Good finish for Gavin. 3 of the last 4. Well done.
I mean,
Top 10 finish.
Gavin and Gregg both had multiple strokes that easily could have gone another direction, taking them so close. What a battle.
And I didn't even realize that putt was to tie Gregg. He kind of snuck that up on me. So how many players just tied for the podium finish at 3rd place?
Yeah, we got 4 players tied. We have Gregg Barsby, Calvin Heimberg, Ezra Robinson, and Gavin Babcock. What a performance. What a tournament.
He's won a lot of events, but this is one I'm sure he'll never forget. 12,250.
On behalf of the Des Moines Metro Disc Golf Club, I would like to present the 2023 TruBank Des Moines Challenge presented by Discraft champion, Mr. Gannon Buhr. You know, I've been playing Pickard for so long, and I've considered it as my favorite course in Iowa. And honestly, with all the changes that have been made, all the people helping out, I think it might be my #1 course right now in the world. I had so much anxiety and stress this morning, and just pray for that to go away, that I can, just stay calm, and it's going to work its way out eventually, and everything worked out perfectly for me. I think I've played every single weekend since Vegas. Maybe I missed 1 week, but that's it. I've just been traveling on the road and just having such a good time. I think that really helped, and I love you guys at Des Moines so much. You guys worked so hard for this course, and it's unfortunate round 2 got canceled, but we all appreciate all your hard work.
Well, fantastic, man. It was such a show. Congratulations. We'll see you in Minnesota.
What a true dream come true. He definitely sat at home dreaming about hoisting that trophy at this event on tour someday, and here he is.
I mean, he mentioned that he went from missing cash to winning this tournament. He said he was in his basement throwing into a net until 2 a.m., filming his backhand form to fix his timing because he wanted this so badly. I think this was a great reset. He got to come back home to the Midwest. He got to see his friends, his family, and he got to fix the things that he feels like he needed to fix. And it's just awesome to see how hard he's working and, again, how single-minded he's been. Cole Redallen even mentioned at the OTB Open how he almost envies that part of Gannon's game. And what a performance.
Seriously, and I think at this point, we've known this for a while, but we can officially say we're looking at a generational type talent here. This guy's here to stay. We've known that for a while, but we can just hammer that home. Gannon Buhr is a special, special player, and he's done something he'll never forget this weekend here in Iowa, and he's looking forward to taking that to next week in Clearwater, Minnesota for the Preserve Championship. We're going to be saying hi to our old buddy, Kale Visca, and that beautiful property that he's done so much work on. Very excited to go visit that property and camp out with some of the buds.
Should be a great time.
We'll see you guys next week for the next stop on the Disc Golf Pro Tour.